Okay. I'll have to change the settings on Facebook at some point in the future, but I think at least right now we should be good to go. So just go ahead and check on IG for me and see if it works, please.
Yeah, I can see it. All it's showing is that like you're on the screen. It says you're like it's showing your live thing working.
Okay, but
Now it's on Steph Curry.
do you see do you see the full entire screen? Do you see me? Do you see the screen? Do you see the film breakdown? You see everything?
I see like it says Coach Kama. I see Trey Mourning, like at Trey Mourning on YouTube and Instagram. I see all of it.
Okay, let me check it on my end. Yeah, we're good money. It's working. All right, perfect. So let's get back to where we were. We were talking about Steph in this case. So what we were talking about before? What's the best time to be able to look for a 3-point shot? After what?
Paint touch.
No, not necessarily after paint touch. After Malik, what? After what situation? What's happened? Like when is everybody in scramble mode that allows you to be able to just go and find an open shot?
Cutters.
No, no.
Oh,
What after what just happened? Like what just happened in this scenario, and why is Steph Curry so open?
did he?
It's not
I
anything
want
that
to
he
say
did. What just happened in this scenario? Like what was the play right before this?
a turnover
No.
or they had a turnover. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
What just happened?
Oh, rebound.
Yeah, it was a rebound.
Offensive rebound.
Offensive rebound. So anytime an offensive rebound happens, what is the defense more than likely going to do in a situation like this? Shot goes up.
Scramble.
Scramble, right? Not necessarily scramble, but what is their job as a defense? Shot goes up.
Like
They're
box out and like get the ball and then like end up having to do like closeouts if they don't get it.
not necessarily close out as if you don't get it, but the I guess what's happening right now, you have a missed shot. If the shot is missed, the defense is going to two people are going to get back. Sometimes, usually two people or one person is going to get back. In a situation like this, number 32 is just looking at the basket because the shot just went up. So they're crashing 5 or crashing 4 in a scenario like this. Everybody's looking at the rim, right? You have players in. I want you to think about it this way as well. You're going to have players on Davidson who are going to be getting back, right? Just because you have to get back, otherwise you're going to get crushed in transition defense. So they're getting back, and since they're getting back, like look, there's a couple guys who aren't even in the shot. This guy was in the process of getting back. Look how open he is. Let's say 14's a 3-point shooter. How open is he right now to be able to shoot this ball? Right? He's ridiculously open. So in a situation like this, as a 3-point shooter, you should kind of thrive on, I guess, scenarios in which there is a missed shot, because when there is a missed shot, the defense is in scramble mode and you can relocate. When I was with the Heat organization, we would call this tracking. So I played with, this is in summer league. I was playing with Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. And one thing that we would work on consistently throughout the summer league is we would track. So anytime we got an offensive rebound, yeah, we could potentially put up a shot, but I'd much rather, for me, I'm happy with me taking a floater and I'm confident I'm going to put the ball back in the basket. But in a scenario like this, I think most coaches in that scenario, they'd rather Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson have an open 3 in transition, which makes complete sense to me. So we're taught to grab the ball as bigs, and we find the guy who's relocating after a missed shot, and we call that tracking. So that's something that you all can apply and start to look into as well. And that's what Steph does. He knows, he relocates and goes to an open space and knocks an open shot down. And I think this is something that they probably worked on in practice as well, because look at this pin down screen. And as a big, you kind of have to know and you kind of have to be aware of some of the stuff that's happening and be a smart player and set a pin down screen and prevent number 5 from closing out on Steph so he can have a more open shot. And that's literally what happens right here. Bucket. And also another thing before, like look at the momentum shift. Remember I talked about not fouling in this scenario? You don't want to foul in these scenarios. They get the steal. What was the time and score? So 14:45, you got 15 minutes left in the game. You're up 9 right now. You were up 11, but now you're going to be up 8 because you fouled in transition. So you just let him get the ball. Momentum swing, you're already playing in North Carolina, so I think all these things play a big role in that. And less than 2 minutes later, a little bit more than 2 minutes later, Steph gets a corner three right here, and now you have a 4-point game. Now it's a 1-possession game if they hit an and 1-3. Look how like lit it is in there. Look at everybody screaming. And in a scenario like this, it's really, really tough to stop because momentum is on Davidson's side. And I want you to look at this action right here. This is a really cool action. This is either a misdirection or Steph has options, right? So you have Steph here in the corner. Steph can either run off number 2 or he can run off this screen right here. And more than likely what's going to happen, this guy is going to set a double screen in here. So Steph has a double screen coming this way or a single screen coming this way. And this looks like a dribble handoff, so it's really a double screen both ways. And he just has an option to, come off and pick what he's going to do. Yeah, it's a double screen. Y'all remember what action we've talked about before? If this is essentially that action, not completely, but it kind of is that action. It's just run in a different way. What's the action when there's a screener here, and the shooter down here, and probably another double screen up top, and the big has a ball up top? What's that action called? We talked about it before. You remember, Connor?
Isn't this action kind of like a zoom action?
No, it's not necessarily a zoom action, but this is a zoom action. I haven't necessarily heard that term. I heard that term, but I forget what the zoom action is.
It's like the down screen into the handoff.
Yeah, it's a down screen and a handoff, but the term I'm looking for is floppy. Have you heard me say floppy before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a floppy action, right? You're going to want to, we might see this later on, but teams run floppy all the time. You run floppy 2, floppy 3, floppy regular. This is a professional set, and you'll see it run a lot in the NBA. The 2 and the 3, when you say floppy 2 or floppy 3, every organization does it differently. But all you're saying is I want to run floppy for the 2-man, and I want to run floppy for the 3-man. And in a floppy action, you're going to have a screener here, and then 2 options for the shooter, and then a big with the ball up top. Not necessarily a big, it's going to be a point guard. So you have your 1 up top, you'll have your 5 here, you'll have your 4 here, they could be flip-flop, and then you'll have your 2 and 3 right here. They can run circles around one another. The 2 can screen for the 3 or vice versa. They can come this way, and they can even set a screen for the 4 who's going to come off this way. There's a bunch of different wrinkles that we call it that could happen as a result of this. But that's pretty much what you're gonna see. Does that make sense? Yeah. Malik, I think this would be good for you, just for you thinking about scenarios like that. Like we can watch Warriors. We have like about another 40 minutes left. But we could watch the Warriors go through some of these actions. I think that'd be really dope to see because we could talk about how Steph has done these things at a college level, but he's also done these things at a professional level as well. And you keep doing the same shots. It's kind of like what I shared with you all before about my own film, right? And how if you see me in high school, there's a film breakdown that I showed you all before. I had 40 on my senior night in high school. And when I had 40, the majority of my shots were turnaround jumpers over my right shoulder. That was also my shot as a professional, right? Turnaround jumper over my right shoulder. We can look through some of those things as well. But yeah, let's move on to the next play. And the whole team is kind of built around, the whole team is really built around helping Steph become more successful and hit open shots. And now it's a tie game. And think about it, like 5 minutes went off the clock, and that's a huge run they went on. Something you should always know is that basketball is a game of runs, so it's naturally going to happen. And as these runs happen, and it's part of the process, these runs are going to happen. This is why it's so important for you all to stay locked in mentally and journal, like what we talked about, because stuff is going to happen. And when you journal and you get your thoughts and feelings down onto a piece of paper, you can show up in a scenario like this and be more prepared and not be rattled when a team does something out of the ordinary and kind of shakes you up. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. This is what happens with a top block. So they're top blocking. This is what I was mentioning before, preventing Steph from running off of the screen so you stay on top. But when you do that, you have to have your help side locked in. They're running an action to some sort of misdirection on this side, and 42 is looking this way. But he's technically the low man, and he has to be locked in and be helping. This guy is going to come through. 23 is setting a screen on a shooter in the corner, somebody in the corner, 14. And he would technically be the low man now because 42's man is 23. I know I'm saying a bunch of different numbers, but just stick with me. But what I would do in this action as 42, I would switch and just stay low to prevent something like this from happening in the first place. Steph gets it. The help is late. You know, this is why reading basketball IQ and making reads instead of moves is so important, because it's going to allow you to lock in. It's going to allow you to focus and kind of move on the fly, because nothing is guaranteed or promised. A bunch of different things are going to change and happen in the flow of the game, and you have to be able to make these decisions on the fly, right? So like, let's say, I'll let the tape run, but let's say we are, let's say, I don't know, why would we, let's say I'm a coach, you all are my players, and I'm a coach, and we're playing against a team, and I want us to start off in a hedge. Why would we be in a hedge in terms of ball screen coverages? Do y'all remember why we hedge? I can see you, by the way.
So they can't turn the corner?
Yes, correct. So you can't turn the corner, right? So in a hedge, like if I break it down this way, what I want to happen is all right, let's see this. I'm doing this. I draw up this play. And again, X's are always defense and O's are always offense. Let me go ahead and group this. Group objects. I'll just duplicate. All right, and then, so we'll keep the ball screen on this side of the court. That's the ball screen defender, on ball defender, not ball screen defender. On ball defender, this is the screen coming in this way. This is the guy that's guarding him. Let's say we got a corner fill right here. And then the corner fill will be here. And then we have, let's say the spacing is, let's say it's more middle. All right. You see a play with, like, there's a play that I bring up all the time. It's when Derrick Rose, he split the D. I forgot who Derrick Rose dunked on, but I know UD. Shout out UD. I know UD was in the, he was in the hedge, and I think Rio was the guard. Shout out Rio, both those guys. UD was the hedge, and he was, I think, early. He jumped out early, and then Rio ended up, I don't know if Rio was late or whatever, but D Rose split the screen and then went up and like punched on somebody. It might have been Joel. Anthony, shout out Joel as well. But the Heat would run when they would play against the Bulls. They would hedge a whole lot. The Heat would hedge a whole lot regardless. I remember when Chris Bosh was with the Heat, they would hedge like all the time for the most part. They really wouldn't switch with Bosh. But in a situation like this, what I was talking about, you got to hedge, and I want you to go around because you're a quicker player and you're getting downhill, and I would much rather Derrick Rose shoot a three than I would him get downhill. So I want him to take the long way and allow my guard to go under the screen, under the hedge, over the screen, but under the hedge, and he meets him around this way. Let's say offensively there's a change. And what would happen is, let's say the coach ends up making this play. And the Spurs do a really good job of this, and we could actually talk about this as well, and I could show you plays because I think that'd be really beneficial to break down. The Spurs did a great job of this, and they have a passing highlight that's one of my favorites on YouTube. And I've shown you all that one before. Let's look at, I'll make that the ball. All right, so let's say in a scenario like this, a coach wants to make a change, and instead of having 2 men on this side, he puts another guy on this side, and the defense is still running a hedge, but this is a way to get them out of the hedge. The offensive player comes up and sets this screen. The hedge happens when, I'll group these two, when the guard is coming around the screen right here. Instead of trying to dribble it, what he'll do, this guy on X, he'll not be that high. He'll be here, to be quite honest with you. He'll be probably here in the center. These are really good shooters. They'll be spaced out here. Now, what's going to happen here is this guard is going to throw this pass here. As a result, this guy is going to have...
The screen didn't switch over.
I haven't been switching over this whole entire time. Make sure you speak up when I'm doing something along the lines of that, because I'm drawing. Thanks for letting me know. But I'll go back to the jump. I'm sorry about that. All right, let me go back to explaining it. So the first play that I was talking about is, let me just look it up. Give me just a second. Let me look it up. Let's do... Let's do this. Let's do Derrick Rose. All right, y'all can see this, right? I know this stream can see it because I could see it on my screen up there, but I know y'all couldn't see it here in the community. Not the transition one. He was a freak athlete, bro. All right, this is the one. Damn. All right, let's look at this together. We'll slow this down so you can just see the coverage that I'm talking about. And the main principle behind this is like being able to make an appropriate read and having the ammunition and the tools in your tool belt to be able to switch on the fly. Not switch literally, but be able as a guard to be able to decide, okay, I'm going to run a different action. All right, so they're going to hedge on Derrick Rose. Anytime Derrick's in a ball screen, I'm sure Spo was like, okay, we're going to hedge Derrick Rose so that he has to go the long way around. Look what D Rose does. UD's early on this show. He needs to have his hand on Joakim right now. And, I mean, D Rose is so quick, so it's really tough to do. But D Rose makes a move outside. Rio's supposed to be going over and then underneath, so this split doesn't happen. And he was late, and this ended up happening. Right? But the principle at the end of the day is you hedge to be able to go around. Now let's go back to this action right here, like how we had it before. This is what we want to get set up in. I don't want to draw the same exact action up, but let's say we're drawing something like this up, and there's a, I don't know, this would be the spacing, but let's call this the spacing right now, okay? Ball screen comes in. Oh. Ball screen comes in right here. We want to be in a show. Let's group these two. And the goal is to have this guy go here. And while that's happening, Mario's going to go underneath, meet Derrick on the other side. You need a team to guard Derrick Rose. You can't just do it with a player. And then when that happens, there's this guy steps in here, and as this guy rolls, he hits him and stands him up so that he can't get a clean and clear roll to the basket. Then after that, this guy's going to hit him and take him until this guy gets back into the play after he showed, which is essentially this guy right here, right? But now let's go back to, let's say, as an offensive coach, they make a change, and they end up putting another guy right here and moving this guy from here to there. And defensively, we still show, right? We still show right here defensively. Something that a coach could do is they're going to have the guard throw the pass here. Normally this guy would be in as he helps on the pick and roll. And then as the ball goes closer this way, he'll inch out closer and closer. But if the ball goes here, they'll swing it here. This guy now steps up, and this guy keeps on rolling hard to the basket. And now they're playing this action here because this guy can't get back into the play in time. And now they have a 3-on-2. One of these guys has to step up, and there has to be somebody open in the corner in a scenario like that, right? The reason I bring that up, I want to go over something Spurs related, because I think the Spurs did this really well. Spurs, passing highlights, passing tribute. I don't know if it's this one. Y'all following along? Connor, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just forgot to raise my hand. I was going to ask something about the spacing in that Derrick Rose clip.
All right, talk to me about the spacing in that Derrick Rose clip. Let's go back to that instead.
I was only curious because, when I was looking at that, since I knew the hedge was coming, I was watching the opposite corner because I'm like, I don't remember seeing this clip, to be honest, because I was pretty young when this happened, but I haven't seen it.
This one right here?
And I was like, yeah, okay, I understand Kyle Korver's in the opposite corner.
Yeah, that's Kyle Korver in the opposite corner, so you have to hug.
No, yeah, that's why. So I'm like, but I knew he dunked on somebody, so I was confused. I understand it's Carlos Boozer, but he starts coming in. Should he have stayed out? Or I understand he's probably not coming in to get the ball. He's coming in to crash the boards, but shouldn't he space the floor out instead of because if you watch the clip, he starts slowly stepping in, and I don't know. I was just really confused.
In a scenario like this, say that again.
Because obviously it's Kyle Korver. You're not helping off Kyle Korver.
No, you're not helping off Kyle Korver at all. You're not.
Exactly. I understand that, and that's why I was confused because he didn't post or something. I didn't he just got a dunk on somebody. I don't know. It was just I was really confused because I was looking for it because it's not the backside help, which it typically would be.
So in a scenario like this, and this is the way that I would coach this, and this is more than likely what Spo was saying in this scenario. Who would you rather have be the rim protector in this scenario?
Definitely 50.
I would rather Joel Anthony be my rim protector in this scenario. And they ran this play so that Joel Anthony could be the rim protector in this scenario. Not ran this play, but they have it set up defensively so Joel is the rim protector in this scenario, right? Also, I want you to think about shots that you would rather give up. In the NBA, there's no way to stop a team in the NBA. You can't stop a team, and you can't stop a player in the NBA. All you could do is make them take tougher shots, right? You can make them take the toughest shots possible. That's literally all you can do, okay? So if I want a player to take the toughest shot possible, not necessarily the toughest shot possible, let's think about the players that are on the court and the shots that I want to, the people who I want shooting. I'd say this. I would much rather Carlos Boozer shoot his patented 2-point, his mid-range shot than I would Kyle Korver getting a wide open 3 in the corner. Also, corner threes are the shortest 3, okay?
Yeah.
So that's why D-Wade is staying in the corner. Joel is correct to go down because he is the help guy. They should have ran this pick and roll better. And think about it this way. Think about how much of a freak athlete LeBron was at this time. Right?
Yeah.
So LeBron can cover both Carlos Boozer. I think that's Ronnie Brewer. Is that Ronnie Brewer at the top? Let's see who's on the court. No, that's Luol Deng. I don't think Luol Deng is in a position to shoot the ball at the top of the key. I don't know what Luol Deng was shooting in 20, whatever year this was, 2011, 2012. I think this was 2012 or something like that, 2010, 2012. I don't know what Luol Deng was shooting from three-pointer at that time, but I don't think Luol Deng was. I know very well Luol Deng wasn't shooting the same percentage that Kyle Korver was.
What if? But wouldn't you still want that backside help? And you would like, what about an Xing out?
I mean, I would trust. So you can make a gamble in a scenario like this, and I want D Wade. I want D Wade to stay on Kyle Korver. I don't want him to leave. Right? What I would do.
That's true.
Yeah. So what I would do potentially, the only change that I would make to this, what I would try as a coach, if I were Spo in this scenario, what I would try, I would put D Wade on
Derrick Rose.
on Derrick Rose. That's the only change that I would make. Rio's not a bad defender. Rio's a solid defender. Rio's a 2-time NBA champion. He's a solid defender. You know, he can get the job done. Rio do be hacking though. Shout out Rio, but Rio do be hacking. But in a scenario like this, I think like I'm fine with this. I just think it's super tough. Like let's see how they run this.
It's great spacing.
Yeah. So this is principle based. So like, look, there's certain defensive principles that every team is going to run and every team is going to have. In a scenario like this, look what Mario does. He does what with the screen? What does he do?
He chases.
No. What does he do?
Oh, he goes under.
Yes, because the rule is probably what with Derrick Rose. Would you go over a screen on Derrick Rose?
No, because it means you're chasing him to the hoop.
Exactly. Because you'd just be chasing him to hoop, and he'd have a one. He'd put
He'd
you in,
dunk
not
on
put you in
somebody.
jail, but like, bro, he has kind of UD at his mercy right here, going downhill, and you got Joakim Noah now on a pocket pass or something like that, and he was finishing well around the rim. So the rule here, Rio follows the rules, which is split the gap on the pick and roll, 110%. It's not lock and trail over Derrick Rose. So he splits the gap on the pick and roll right here. Okay. The thing is, UD doesn't necessarily give him a gap to be able to go through. It's tough because I also think from UD's perspective, and this is why it's such a tough cover. Think about all the different things that players have to do in a scenario like this. UD is thinking, because they probably think about how many times they ran this set. This is not the first time that the Bulls have run this set. UD knows what, after having watching film, that he has to get up in a show. It's tough. You can't necessarily be playing defense. You can't necessarily be playing defense on somebody right here. Push up. This is what you're supposed to do. Know that you're going to be in a show on Derrick Rose, right? Push off, give your guard a gap, and then get back body on to be able to show accurately. That's really, really tough to do, right? So in this scenario, Rio did the right thing. He went under the screen on Derrick Rose. UD just didn't give him a big enough gap, and Mario had to fight through it. He got kind of caught up. And then by that time, UD's kind of late on the show. It's not even UD's late on the show. Mario's late because he ran into UD going under the screen or trying to split the gap, right? So by the time Derrick catches the ball, he catches it, and he's going off. Look how early UD's going up. Rio, look how much space Rio has because he met him on the other side thinking he was kind of going to go this way. So it's a tough cover across the board. Rio tries to get over because he's not going to go under the screen. He could have potentially spun off and met him around on the other side, but that's really, really tough to do. He gets caught up on Joakim. Derrick Rose is quicker. He has a horizontal advantage like we talked about on UD. And by that time, it's too late. D Wade comes in as well, but like D Wade's not going to jump on that. Joel's going to jump. The thing about Joel used to jump on, not jump on everything, but he's a great rim protector, and he would contest the rim all the time, So that's how a play like this happened. Did that answer your question?
Yes, definitely. I was just looking at it. It was just tough. It was really tough. It was well ran because I think I totally agree. Like if UD gives the space for him to get through, I think just that makes it a lot smoother and it gets a better switch.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like they kind of like put themselves in like a really weird position because Mario was like hustling to get to like his like where he's supposed to be on defense for something like that. But
yeah.
Can you go back though?
Huh?
Can you go back to the screen?
Okay.
To like
right here?
shouldn't 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 Mario just like drop all the way down though? Because Joakim Noah's not making a jumper. Joakim Noah's not making a jumper if he pops out.
He actually could. But not to three. He's not necessarily making a 3-pointer.
No, but even like he just drops down and gets below Joakim Noah, and then he gets in a spot where he's like kind of just standing behind Joakim, and whatever way like Derrick Rose decides to go, either he goes into Udonis Haslem and he can get back, or he can meet him on the left side baseline. I don't know.
So I want you thinking about it this way: like basketball at this level, it's chess. Like basketball at this level is chess. So what I would do if I were Derrick Rose, why would I even come off a screen that doesn't even exist? Right? If I know Rio's going to drop all the way down, I wouldn't even come off the screen. I would have Udonis come up and get me, and then if Rio goes below Joakim, I have Joakim just go in the post and post up Rio. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, so like
no, it definitely is chess because as soon as that happens, like it opens up a bunch of different things. And like obviously, like it's not a perfect world.
No,
and it was a tough.
It's not. You're not going to get a perfect scenario. You're never going to get like a perfect outcome or a perfect thing to happen. It's just impossible. It's never going to happen. So
yeah.
So you kind of got to like get what you can get in a scenario like that. That's the one thing I can think of. But that's that. All right, let's go back to. Was this the one? No, Spurs passing. I don't know if it was this one. Let's see, Spurs. I don't think it's Spurs ball movement. This one. By the way, Boris Diaw is one of my favorite players of all time. He's one of my favorite players of all time. He used to pass the ball so well. His finals run in 2014 was absolutely amazing. To me, absolutely amazing. I watched Boris Diaw highlights for some time. Like he's fantastic. What I want to see, there's a play where they played against the Spurs and they were in a show. I want to see what this looks like. It's essentially this. You get the ball in the middle, everybody has to collapse, and then Tim Duncan sprays the ball out there. But imagine this action. I think this is it. No, it's not that. It's something along the lines of that, but I want you to think about it this way. The ball, they ran it against it's this one right here. Look, this is literally what I was talking about. The exact play that I was talking about. They swing the ball here to the guy on wide, who's wide, Patty Mills. Then they throw the ball to the rolling big, and then they throw the ball out to the corner. Right? That's what I was drawing. Let's watch it full speed. Because this is a pretty play. Look. Boom. Don't even engage. Go here. Have the ball do the work. Bucket. So let's look at this right here. Same play I was talking about. Right? We're in a show. This is essentially a show. This is not a drop. This is a flat show. I don't know, like, see how he's like sliding out this way? I don't think they were in a drop. There's no way they were in a drop. They were in a show, some sort of like flat extended show. That's what happened there. They were trying to get it so make it so Manu didn't turn the corner and get downhill. That's what they were doing. But they ended up giving up all that. Boom. All right, so let's look back at this. If we're running that same exact action, let's say the ball is, we have this going on right here. The ball is here. This guy's guarding here. This guy is probably he's going to be here. This is probably going to be the accurate spacing right here. He's going to have to get ready to get body on, but naturally as the ball moves this way, this guy's going to start moving out this way. But let's say they're in a show, like we talked about before, and we'll go back to Steph Curry in a bit, but they're in a show, and ball screen happens, let's say, probably going to happen here-ish. Ball screen happens here. This guy shows. they're showing to make sure he goes here. This guard is going to go up and over and meet him on the other side when this happens. And then when that happens, these guys are going to step in as this big rolls, tag him and slow him down so he doesn't have a quick roll to the basket. This guy's the second line, but this guy stands him up first and then kind of slowly gets back out to his man, but he could stay kind of in here because the ball's going the opposite way. And then the pass is going to, not necessarily the pass is going to go there, but they're preventing him from getting downhill. If I'm a coach, what I would do in a scenario like this, and then, this guy would eventually get back to his guy. What I would do in a scenario like this, I would set it up like Greg Popovich did, and let's say ace. Cool. We move these guys over here. This guy sags off this way. What's going to happen is what Manu Ginobili did. They're in a show still. But instead of trying to dribble off of it and get downhill, what I do here is I allow for this ball to go over here. This guy rolls here. Then I pass it here because this guy's going to have to step up. And then this guy right here is now going to make a decision as to what happens next. And he's playing 3 against 2, and he can essentially pick them apart. What I want you all to be prepared to do is defensively, instead of being in a scenario like that, you can say, okay, they move the guy over here. I want to be in a drop now, right? But you also have to have the right personnel to be in a drop, because you can't just say, okay, we're going to be in a drop now, or okay, we're going to switch, when you don't have the right guys to be able to get that stuff done. So this happens right here. You come off and you say you want to be in a drop. Now, you're still going to have this guy getting downhill, but maybe you need to have more help in right here. This is kind of what I was saying before, Connor, about it being chess, right? Because what if this is a shooter? You can't necessarily sag off this much. So what you're going to have to figure out is like, okay, who do we put in the corner, right? Maybe we do something. This is a crazy switch, but maybe we do something along the lines of this. Maybe this guy right here in the pick and roll, he probably is not going to hit this guy in the corner, so we can have this guy go here. And once this guy, I don't know, maybe he steps up, something along the lines of that, we X out here. This guy stays until they get back, and then he kind of goes off into the help side. There's a bunch of different things that can happen. Does that make sense? All right. So I just want you all thinking in terms of those levels and understanding, like, okay, like these are all the different actions that we're going to explore, what we're going to go into, and always have that flexibility. And you don't do that when you have moves. You do it when you have the ability to make reads and understand how you're going to, break down the offense or break down the defense, vice versa, whatever. All right, Steph just dribbles this out. Steph at 37. He was cooking. They win the game. Big time comeback win. Do y'all want to still watch Davidson, or you want to go into we got people watching from Trinidad. Shout out Trinidad. What's going on, Dylan? What's going on, Faith and Based? Mike, what's going on? Do you all want to keep watching? I mean, they beat Georgetown here. Do y'all want to keep watching the Steph highlights, or you want to watch the professional stuff and see how it translates there? For you, Malik and Connor. I'm not talking to anybody else.
I kind of want to keep watching this, but I don't know if it's just my screen, but I can't see you right now. On here.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Make sure you're speaking up, because I don't necessarily know what I know what you can't see, but you see how I had to tap that at the top of the screen to switch every single time? Like if I go back to here, I have to press, see where my mouse is? right? There's a button. You can't see this, but there's a button at the top of the screen that allows me to be able to share and show what it is that I have on my screen. If I'm not able to do that, like forgive me. Excuse me, if you can't see it, just forgive me. So, but yeah, do you all want to, Malik and Connor, you all want to watch the college stuff still, or you want to go to the professional stuff and see how it translates?
I think we can go watch the professional stuff.
Okay, Malik, you cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, sweet. So let's look it up here. All right, let's check this out. Steph Curry. MVP. Let's watch the GOAT season 1. Okay. All right. One of the reasons I don't necessarily love these types of videos right here is just a lot of ISO and like individual stuff. Let's say, you know what? Let's do this. This is probably the best game to do. Let's do Steph versus OKC full game. It's this one right here, full game highlights. Yeah, cool. 46 points against. Y'all remember this game? With the Mike Breen.
Yep.
With the Mike Breen bang.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a huge game. Donis, what's going on, brother? All right. Let's check this out. Let's see what action they're in. Screen down on Steph. A lot of time, I won't say that yet. Another thing about the NBA, there's so much more space. The court is bigger. Spacing is so much better. Like one thing you'll just notice is that like NBA courts it's just so wide, and the spacing is so much more different compared to what it is that you'll see in other levels of basketball, and you just notice it so much. Right? What coverage of the Spurs, is OKC in against Steph from the jump? What are they running? On ball screens. What coverage are they in?
They're switching.
You're switching.
Right? High.
Switching
high.
Switching up. Yeah, you switch up, right? So you can switch. You have a soft switch, and you can switch up. In a scenario like look, from top to bottom, they were ready to go. Like look how locked in Steven Adams is running Steph off the line. Like that's what you want a big to do. But then he gets ISO and he's downhill and getting fouled and all that other stuff. What are we looking for in a switch?
Well, obviously, you can't let the guy slip to the basket, and also you can't let the guy handling the ball. You can't let him just come off and get a clean look and get a shot.
Specifically, offensively, if I'm talking about if you all are Steph Curry in this position, right? If you all are Steph Curry in position, what are you looking to get to? If there's a switch, what are you looking for? Like if you're primary ball handler, what are you looking for in a switch?
The slip?
Not necessarily the slip. You're looking for an advantage, right?
Oh, yeah.
Looking for an advantage first and foremost, right? So there's 5 ball screen coverages you're ever going to see. Switch, hedge or show, drop, blitz, and let's say ice is the 5th one, right? In a switch, you're looking for the advantage. Now the advantage in a scenario like this is Steven Adams used to guarding Steph Curry in a place like this?
No.
So the best thing that Steph could do, best thing that Klay could do, in my opinion, is cut. If Klay cuts, Steven Adams is guarding Steph in an ISO up top. But Steph also has a switch on, I forgot who that is, and Steph gets by him. I think the person who's starting off guarding Steph is probably Russ initially. So Transition, Steph probably stops short and shoots a three. No. Goes to the basket, drops off. Iguodala, bucket. Look how wide they run, too. Like, this is something I probably don't see in your own personal highlights when I'm watching your teams and all that stuff. Like, y'all got to run a lot wider. Let's check this scenario out. There's two actions that they ran so far when Steph Curry set the screen on. I'll stay on a bit longer for tonight, fellas. There's two actions that we saw there when Steph, so far in this game, Steph Curry set a screen. Why is Steph Curry setting a screen? What has to happen when Steph Curry sets a really good screen? Malik, I want to hear from you.
You said what happens when Steph sets a really good screen?
Yeah, when Steph sets a really good screen, what happens when Steph sets a really good screen? What does Steph's man have to do?
Does he have to watch? Where they at? Does he have to watch someone like backdoor or?
No, not necessarily backdoor. He just has to. Well, Connor, what does he have to do?
When he sets a really good screen.
Yeah. Who's Steph's man in this situation? Who's guarding Steph right now? Steph's all the way down at the bottom.
Oh, Russ.
Russ.
So he's got to see what Russ does.
No.
If Russ.
When Steph sets a really good screen, what does Russ have to do? What did he just do?
He's got to he's got to watch the screener.
He's got to help.
Because if it's a really good screen, then he's obviously going to be the man getting screens at a disadvantage. So he's the help off for a second.
Yeah, he's the help. So he's the help. And since he's helping, remember what we talked about when Steph was in college as well? Was the one thing that, like, you don't necessarily need a lot of time. You just need a little bit of space, right? That help is enough space for Steph to come off here. And this is why they're so hard to guard. Because think about this. Think about this. Let's say this were more, let's say Draymond wasn't making the pass. Let's say Iguodala was making the pass right here. Let's say Draymond was setting the screen. Draymond could hypothetically slip this, right? Let's say this is Draymond right here. Let's say Steven Adams helps out because he has to help out because Russ is beat now, or Russ is late. Iguodala can throw the pass to Draymond, and then Draymond can then spray the ball to somebody else, right? And now everybody's a step behind and everybody's super slow. Does that make sense, Malik?
Yeah.
Yeah. Connor, makes sense to you too?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Bucket. Transition. Steph's running wide. He slows down. He attacks. Drop off. And one. That was and one. Bucket, you have to stay glued to him. I'm going to let it run for a second. You all let me know if there's something in particular that you see that you want to, a particular play that you want to go over. Just let me know. I'm not mad at necessarily what they did here, by the way. I think we'll close it off in just a bit. I'm not mad at what this OKC did here, if I were KD, I would probably go down and try to block this. I go down to block that because I got Draymond at the top of the key. Why potentially, let me know this, why did they allow Steph to get this layup? And we'll end here, more than likely. Why did they allow Steph to get this layup? Why did they not come in and contest? Malik, Connor, anything?
So we didn't get an and one or
Momentum?
Potentially. Both things. Momentum and one. All right. I don't think it's mostly and one. I think it's mostly momentum, to be quite honest with you. They're already up 11, right? The OKC's dumb loud. And also they're going into the half. Giving Steph a bucket right here, 9-point game. Doesn't kill you, right? Doesn't kill us. I probably would still go in and get that stop, though. That's just me. Bad pass by KD. Tough bucket. That sucks. I know that hurt. Well, sweet. Fellas, we'll end there. What are some takeaways from today? I know we went over a whole lot in terms of film study. We went over the whole entire time. But what are some things for you all to suck out and things that you took from today? Connor, go ahead.
Ball screen coverage and like knowing your personnel. Like your it was very like obvious what like you should do, and it was like even more obvious like how much it can hurt like a team if they don't like execute that correctly.
Yeah.
Like obviously like we said, it's not gonna ever be perfect, but there was the one time with like Derrick Rose, and like once that guy's downhill, like 2 points are getting added to the scoreboard, like regardless. Same thing with Steph Curry. Same thing with Steph Curry. If he gets an open look at the basket, like that, you're like there he's running back on defense.
Yeah.
So if you're like not communicating and actively executing your like game plan on screens, like ball screens, like even off ball screens, and or as an offensive player knowing the reads to make those, like at the same time, like I know my thing is like I'm a good shooter, so I was like,
you just went out. I heard good shooter, and then you went out. Hope your phone didn't die. Malik, you get us started, and we'll keep going. You get us started, Malik.
A big thing for me was the momentum.
Yeah.
So, like right there, that one of the last plays, he was talking like he had a open lane, and he was going up, but he didn't contest it. And it's like if he did, he probably would have fouled. And at the end, like 2 points before the half, being up 9, it wouldn't really hurt you. So just don't commit bad like fouls, I'd say.
Yeah. And like at the end of the day, like I will say this though, like some things you just never know. I think this ended up being a 1-point game when Steph hit that shot. It was like a 1 point or 2 point game when he hit that shot at the end of the game. Because it was a go-ahead bucket. So you never know what's going to happen, but I think it is a smart play right now to kind of allow that to happen and just say, okay, I'll let Steph shoot a contested 2. Because think about this, Steph Curry this night, how many threes did he hit this night? Let's ask AI. How many 3-pointers did Steph Curry hit when he dropped, I think, like 47 against the 46 against OKC in, I want to say, 2016, when he hit that famous shot? He had, damn, he had 12 3-pointers. He was 12 for 16 in this game, which is pretty nuts. What I will say is this. Did the fans come to see Steph Curry make layups, or did they come to see him shoot threes?
Shoot threes.
Yeah, it's like Vince Carter. Like, people didn't go to the Raptors game to see Vince Carter shoot pull-up jumpers. They came to see him get the ball on a break and punch on somebody, right? Or get the ball in a pick and roll and punch on somebody, right? So, yeah, I think about momentum swings, and you're not just playing against like the player, you're playing against the crowd, you're playing against the atmosphere, you're playing against the momentum, you're playing against all these different things. And you got to be smart and like allow certain things to happen so that you can get more favorable outcomes in the game. So yeah, momentum swings and things like that are super important. Connor, you were saying, you got cut off, my friend, but you were saying something.
Yeah, I was just saying like the reads on offense and defense, like, and how they can like cost you a game or win you a game. Like I said, like I know my best skill is shooting the ball, so I know if like the defender's chasing me off a screen or off a screen or going under, I'm most likely going to come off and just shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Like, no hesitation, because I know like make or miss, that's the right read.
Yeah.
Things like that, just like because teams like the Spurs and the Heat, not the Heat, the whole NBA, but like ideally, like not ideally, but like specifically the Warriors do an excellent job with setting screens and making reads off screens with guys like Draymond Green and Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And it's made them a dynasty.
They want that. I mean, they've done it for years too. I think like Draymond is probably, I think it's fair to say, I don't know, I'd have to think more about basketball and all these different things, but Draymond is probably the best person in a short roll, one of the best people in a short roll in NBA history. And it's essentially like if Steph Curry is let's say I'm Steph Curry, right? And I'm coming off a ball screen and a team chooses to blitz me, what I'm doing is I'm hitting the short roll over the top, right? If I can. I hit the short roll or I spray opposite and that person hits the short roll. It's the play that we saw of the Spurs, that pass that we saw with the Spurs, right? Draymond is probably the best person in NBA history catching the ball in the middle of the paint on that roll and making a decision, whether it be a floater. He's not necessarily the best offensive player in the world. He's not. But he's probably one of the best decision makers in that scenario that we've seen. Because that's what they've done as a team. You got to think like what other teams are going to try to take away and who the hot guys are on the court and all these different things. I think playing with Steph leads you to play in that certain type of way. So, yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. All righty. Anything else you all want to cover before we end for the night? I want to be respectful. I know y'all got some things going. It's not a school night. Y'all still in summer. But is there anything else in particular y'all want to cover? No? All good. Sweet. Well, fellas, I appreciate y'all. I will see you all next week. I think I see your parents on Wednesday. Let me check my calendar. Oh, no, we have the family huddle on Wednesday. So I'll see you all on Wednesday with your parents. And then, tune into the live streams that we have this week. We got Quentin Richardson coming on tomorrow. We got Antoine Walker coming on Thursday. And Darius Miles as well on Thursday. And hopefully some other guests next week when we're on and streaming. So see y'all boys next week, all right? Or on Wednesday. Peace. Yes,
Thank you, Trey. See ya.
My pleasure. Peace. All righty. Let me go check. In chat, I'm going to be doing these streams on a more regular basis. I know we're live on YouTube right now. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on, I want to say Facebook. I want to say we're live on X as well. We are live in a bunch of different places. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be having more professional players on, or some professional players on this week. Quentin Richardson, I'll be on with him tomorrow. I'll be on with Darius Miles and Antoine Walker in 2 separate calls on Thursday. We might keep the stream on the whole entire time for like 4 or 5 hours and just go over a bunch of stuff with them on those calls. So If you all got anything for me, drop it in the chat, and I'll get back to you there, or just shoot me a message on IG, and we'll go and have a convo there. But hope y'all enjoyed this, and hope y'all have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.